afternoon. I am Vipin Nautiyal, coordinator for today's webinar. On behalf of New Age International Publishers, I welcome all the distinguished teachers participating in the webinar on the latest curriculum issued by CBSE for the academic year 2024-25 for computer science with Python for classes 11 and 12. I feel pleasure in informing you that the webinar is being attended by teachers from across the country. This webinar is hosted by New Age International Publishers. New Age International Publishers is a leading publishing house for last 50 years. Till date, it has published more than 4,000 titles for schools and colleges. Now I take this opportunity to introduce Mr. Soumya Gupta. Soumya sir is BE Chemical and MS Publishing from New York. He is the managing director of New Age International and is looking after the publishing house for last 20 years. Under his able guidance and entrepreneurship, New Age is achieving new heights day by day. His vision is to make students not only literate but well educated and ideal human beings by publishing best quality books from them. Now I request Soumya sir to kindly join us and say a few words.
Greetings of the day to everyone, respected principals and teachers from various reputed schools across India. This is Soumya Gupta, Managing Director of New Age International Publishers. Well, New Age was established in 1966 as Wiley Eastern Limited and currently is a market leader in educational books, both for school as well as for higher education. We have more than 3,500 titles in various subjects. Our main focus is to provide best quality content at a very affordable price to the students. New Age is one of the first leading publishers to have their own ebooks platform called elibfori.com. New Age has a strong list of content in engineering, sciences, pharmacy, humanities and commerce for university level students. We have a strong marketing team spread across India. We do participate in major international book fairs around the world like Frankfurt Book Fair, London Book Fair and New Delhi World Book Fair. We have collaborations with many leading publishers around the world, especially from US and UK with like American Society for Quality, Princeton University Press, Barron's, etc. We have proud privilege to have distinguished authors from reputed institutes across the globe like IITs and Indian Institute of Science, to name a few. Our authors are currently teaching in renowned universities based in US, Africa, and many other universities globally. Our head office is in New Delhi, supported by 10 branch offices in India, spread strategically across India, covering the entire nation. We are also very strong in school content. Golden Brand is already one of the most famous brands for NCERT-based books, Golden Workbooks, Golden Reference Books, and Golden Pull-Out Assignments are already very popular all over India. Besides this, we have published various series for primary students under New Age brand. New Age is one of the first publishers to publish class-wise books on yoga and Vedic mathematics. New Age, in collaboration with Webster's, also published class-wise multi-color dictionaries. Now, I take this opportunity to introduce Mr. Harsh Bhasin, who will be conducting today's webinar. Dr. Harsh Bhasin is a researcher, educator, and consultant with extensive expertise in machine learning. He did his PhD from JNU, and he is currently associated with the Center for Health Innovations, Manav Rachna University. Dr. Harsh Bhasin has also penned 11 books for esteemed publishers like New Age International Publishers and other esteemed publishers. We hope that this webinar on Python will enlighten us all with the features and scope of computer science with Python for all the students of classes 11th and 12th and will help you in teaching the students. You are most welcome to ask any questions on computer science with Python webinar once the webinar finishes at the end of the session. Dear participants, we will be issuing a participation certificate to you after the end of the webinar. So kindly, those who are not registered, kindly register at the Google Excel link which you already given. Now I request Mr. 𝐤𝐤𝐜𝐤 to kindly join us and enrich us regarding the topic, computer science with Python. Thanks.
I thank Somesh sir for his kind words. Now, before starting the webinar, let me introduce you the panelists for the webinar. All the panelists are very well experienced and enlightening their students for last so many years. Now let me introduce them in brief. Miss Richa Jetli, Brilliance Convent Senior Secondary School, Pitampura, Delhi. Miss Neha, Manav Rachna International School, Sector 14, Faridabad. Now let me introduce Dr. Harsh Bhasin, who will be conducting the webinar. Dr. Harsh Bhasin is a researcher, educator, and consultant with extensive expertise in machine learning. Dr. Bhasin completed his PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University under Vishveshwarya Fellowship from Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. He is net qualified. He is author of 11 books and 40 research papers. He has taught at esteemed institutions like Delhi Technological University and Jamia Ahmedabad. Currently, he is associated with the Center for Health Innovations, MRIIRS. His areas of interest include deep learning, algorithms, and the theory of computation. I hope this webinar will enlighten all of us and help you all in teaching the students. You all are welcome to clear your doubts and ask questions in the questions and answers session. Now I request Dr. Harsh Bhasin to kindly join and enrich us regarding the subject. Thank you.
So, thank you, Mr. Nautia. Thank you for this introduction. Before starting the webinar, I would like to thank New Age International, Soumya and our panelists, Neha ma'am and Richa ma'am. So, thank you all. So, before, without wasting any time, I'll straight away come to the topic. If the if the organizers can please confirm if my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me just start with what we have to do today. We are going to discuss the computer science class 12th and class 11th syllabus. And I understand that most of you have been teaching for long. So you might not be wanting to know what Python is and why do we need Python. All of you must be knowing, all of you must have been teaching for long, for many years. So we'll focus on the discriminative parts of the syllabus, first point. Second point, there are some of the points which, our team, when went to the teachers, they asked some of the points. So I wanted to discuss those points, second point. And third point, we are in the third edition of this book. We have received many comments from you. We have updated the book. It's in a good shape now. And one of the most received comments was teachers face some problem while asking the students to do projects using Python, probability visualization. And there's a paragraph in the syllabus which says that those projects should be they should be useful to the society. So we are going to discuss such subjects and see how we are going to integrate, how we can integrate discriminative features of Python, particularly visualization, in those projects. So welcome to the webinar. In our webinar, we are going to discuss a few things. So the flow will be, we'll be seeing the outcomes. We'll be starting with the outcomes of the syllabus. And that is what we are going to focus on. Why does CBSE want you to focus on certain topics and not on others? Rather, we should focus on all the topics, but focus on some topics more rather. We'll see about the distribution of the marks. Computational thinking and programming 2 was one of the topics in which most of the teachers wanted to ask questions when our team went to the teachers. Then we'll study a very important thing in database management system, that is connection of front end with the back end. I'll give a brief introduction of that. We have covered it extensively in the book. Then, as I told you, we are going to see about we are going to see a few projects, and finally, what support can we provide. So let's start with the thing. Now, first of all, what I'm going to discuss is the outcomes that a student should be able to do. And right now I'm focusing on the 12th part, but we have similar things in the 11th syllabus as well. So after a while, I'm going to discuss that also. So as you all know that the outcomes are related to functions, file handling, stack, computer networks, and connectivity between Python and SQL. So we're going to see these topics in detail. And why we are going to see these topics in detail is because Python is slightly different as compared to other languages as far as these points are concerned. Now, as far as the third point is concerned, as far as tax is concerned, we will have a brief discussion about handling data structures in Python and how they are going to help the students in developing larger projects. But as far as rest of the things are concerned, so Python has some discriminative features that must be told to the students first point. And this is one of the reasons of switching to Python from conventional languages in the newer syllabuses for the past few years. Same is the case with file handling. And I would like to stress these points that the knowledge of functions and file handling will help the student to ultimately become a good data scientist. So while teaching the student and while telling the student that we are going to focus on these things, let's just tell the students that you must focus on functions, that is procedural programming. You must focus on file handling, that is data handling. There are some of the things which are not in the course right now as far as 12th syllabus is concerned. They include matplotlib, cbon, and so on and so forth. But as the syllabus states that we should encourage the students to learn more. You'll be happy to conduct workshops in your schools, probably taking a few schools together. But knowing such things will help the student ultimately. It will help the student in becoming a data scientist and finally a machine learning engineer. So again, as far as computer networks is concerned, we all understand that computer networks is primarily theory as far as 12th syllabus is concerned. But there's a very good reason of including Python and computer networks because right now, a lot of things in computer networks are being done with the help of Python. Now, as far as the last part is concerned, this is the most interesting part because of two reasons. First is that it will help the student to develop a good project. And second is, as I told you, that knowing SQL and knowing the connectivity between the front end and the back end will ultimately help the student in understanding and handling the data, which is the first step towards becoming a data scientist. Now, why I'm stressing the word data scientist again and again is because let's tell the student that the important thing is that as far as science is concerned, science students are concerned, both medical and non-medical, their first focus is physics, chemistry, and math, which is very good. But the point is that if we tell the student that this is also one of the very important things because ultimately this is going to help you in developing your career. Physics, chemistry, math will help you in getting into a good college. And this subject is going to help you in making the fundamentals, making the foundation of your career. So we all know that computational thinking and programming constitutes the major chunk of the paper. Now I'm going to discuss some of the things in this and in database management system because ultimately 40 plus 20 becomes 60. Briefly, we are going to touch computer networks also, but due to limited time, we cannot have discussion on all the topics. So without wasting any time, let's come to a few topics and see why these topics have been included in this particular syllabus. So, most of you have been teaching computer science before even Python came into the syllabus. We all understand the importance of modular programming. So the first point that I would like to stress is that in spite of the fact that most of the programming, most of the code that we do in Jupyter or Colab, or say for that matter in any other platform, appears modular, appears procedural, but as a matter of fact, everything in Python is object-oriented. So when you make an instance of an integer, we must tell the student that even it is based on the concept of object-oriented programming. So when we pass a list to a function and we make some changes in the list, that change is reflected in the calling function as well, which is not the case in C++ and Python. Why is this the case? We have discussed this in great detail in the book. We must tell the students also that this is also due to object-oriented programming. We are actually passing the reference. We are not passing the actual thing. Again, the reusability of code starts from procedural programming. So it's a very good opportunity to tell the student that since most of the code is very easy to write, very easy to understand, but since there's something hidden inside the code, and you learn this thing as and when you grow. So this is one thing which we can tell the student. And actually, it's a good opportunity to tell the student that there are many types of programming languages. We have procedural programming, we have object-oriented programming, and we have something called functional programming. Functional programming, not as in the case of procedural programming. Functional programming is like in the case of F sharp. That is a Microsoft language. Again, manageability is very easy in Python. It's easy to debug the code because actually we don't write the whole code. We don't write the uh, like all we don't write all the function and then write the driver code and then run the code. We can actually see how a particular statement is working. So this is the most interesting thing in Python, and that is what people want you to like. That is what the syllabus, that those who created the syllabus want you to do with the students. And this is one of the reasons why while making the slides, I included this thing in the slide. So I think most of you must be knowing that this is like the name of the language is because of Python. The name Python was kept because of Monty Python. So Monty Python was a group. It was a group like they had many series on TV at that point in time. One of which was Monty Python and Flying Circus. The creator of Python was very fond of this particular group, this particular comedy group. So this is the reason why he kept the name Python. So this fun part of Python should be kept in mind while teaching the Python as well. While telling the students that it's easy to debug, while telling the students that it's, in spite of the fact that it's easy to debug, in spite of the fact that it is easy to write code in Python, still it's fun. Still it's fun, still it is as good as any other programming language. Fine. So, as the syllabus states that we need to tell the student about built-in function, user-defined functions, and functions defined in modules. So as far as third part is concerned, this is one of the reasons that we have kept a separate chapter in the book of modules. Modules might not be explicitly in the course. No one is going to ask the student to make packages in the paper, but still, if he knows how to make the packages, we'll end up telling the student how to make a good project. Because it is quite possible, we all understand that in a class of 50 people, there are some students who want to do more. So let's tell the students that there are ways to create modules. There are ways to use visualizations in Seaborn, Matplotlib. With those modules, there are ways to handle data, like including pandas and NumPy. With the help of those modules and with the help of all these things, we can create something which makes use of the database, makes use of file handling, visualizes the whole data with the help of Matplotlib, handles the data and carry out scientific programming with the help of, say, for that matter, NumPy and pandas, and ultimately he'll make a very good project. So at least one group in the class will be able to make good project. Now, because the syllabus stresses on functions and file handling, therefore, it will be a very good idea to include, to ask the student to focus on functions and file handling while making the project also. So making the project is not taking the code from the internet and doing something, rather writing each and every function by himself, testing each and every function, making use of visualizations, data handling procedures, connectivity, and then like making a project. So in order to facilitate that, we have also decided to like relaunch a YouTube channel. I tried doing it earlier, but owing to the fact, as Mr. Naughty told you, that I have been working at various places. So up we have we have decided to relaunch the channel, and every week we'll be giving at least one project. So you'll have the GitHub repository of that project, as you know, you'll have the whole code of that project, a small video of what is being done in that project. You can share it with the students. Share it with the students. If we have a lot of projects given to the students, ask them not to make the same project, but make a similar project. So that will at least help the students who are, say for that matter, not very intelligent. They are good. They want to do something, but they cannot do everything from scratch. So it'll help those students. Acha. So the next thing is, again, focusing on the functions. So there is something interesting in Python. The most interesting thing that I found when I started Python, when I started my PhD, and doing weird things using including handling MRI data and predicting whether the person is going to have Alzheimer's in the next 5 years. So while doing those things, the fun part that I found in Python was that different branches of the same control structure can return different things. It may not return anything, and still the code doesn't collapse. So you cannot do this in C++, in Java, and C#. You cannot do it in any other language. You can do it in Python. So there's a good part and there is a bad part. Actually, it promotes bad programming, but still, as far as students are concerned, as far as school students are concerned, it'll be easier for them to do things, whatever they want. Probably when they grow and they study object-oriented in detail, they'll understand that this might not be the best way of doing the things, but at least it helps them to complete the thing. Again, so what is being passed in the function? So that are passed in the function, arguments, and listed as a part of function's definition, that are parameters. It's important to distinguish between arguments and parameters, both for the students and probably as far as Python is concerned, the teacher, obviously all the teachers must be spending a lot of time in explaining these things to the students. But in the book also we have taken care of this thing, and like starting from the very small things. For example, types of parameter, positional parameters, default parameters, keywords, variable length parameters. We've taken care of all these things. We have included ample examples of these things. And like one of the examples I'll tell you, just say it's a very simple example, but still, important thing is that it clears the concept and helps in handling the difficult problems. So we have a very simple function. We have a function called product. We've defined the function. We've given two parameters, A and B. So the point is that there is something called default value of A. Default value of A in this case is 5. B is default value of B is 3. If we don't pass anything, A will be 5, B will be 3. So product will be 15. If we pass the values, then 4 goes to A, 7 goes to B. The product is calculated. It is evaluated. If we pass some other value of a particular positional parameter, then that particular parameter changes. Other is default. Same is the case with the last one. And since we have named the parameters, therefore, we can switch the names, which is not possible again in the other languages. So this is the fun part of Python. And again, while doing the functions, one of the important things that must be told to the students is that if suppose you have nestings in Python, then the most important thing will be local. So in Python, there is an interesting part that if suppose you are using, say for that matter, for example, sklearn, and you are using data sets. So you import you import data sets from sklearn, and you make a local variable called data sets. So the Python is going to take local variable. It's going to give more importance to the local variable vis-a-vis the imported one. So the local variable, more importance, then the enclosing, then the global, and then the built-in. So this is the scope. Again, this is in the syllabus. All of you must be knowing. We have taken care of this in the book also. We have included these things in the book. We have included ample examples. Again, so one more thing. As far as recursion is concerned, I think it's essential to teach the student about recursion. Be it in the course or not, I'll tell you why. There are two reasons. One is that functions is for sure in the syllabus. So it is quite possible that I might not suppose I'm like anyone else, XYZ is making the paper. He might not ask recursion as per se, but he might call a function in itself. So that is recursion. Because again, the student has been told to prepare functions. So it's not incorrect for me to ask a question which uses a function in itself. So again, recursion is important. Recursion is important because of the fact that there are many things that can be implemented using recursion easily. For example, binary search. Here I've written a few things. Fibonacci series, greatest common divisor, binary search, tower of Hanoi, factorial calculation. So everything like so there are a few important things. If we teach the student recursion, in spite of the fact that it's not in the syllabus, it will clear many concepts of the student. Why? Okay. The first thing is flow of the program. Flow of the program is that visually the student is going to make a tree in his mind. For example, Fibonacci series, fib of n is fib of n minus 1 plus fib of n minus 2. So again, if he calculates the fib of 7, then in his mind he'll going to make a tree in which he's going to calculate fib of 7, fib of 6 plus fib of 5, again fib of 6, he'll make 2 branches, fib of 5, he'll make 2 branches. So unknowingly, he is actually learning how to do backtracking. Unknowingly, he is calculating the last level first and then the upper level. So what is this? Stack. Stack is definitely in the syllabus. So again, this is what I said, that in spite of the fact that recursion is not in the syllabus, it can be asked in many ways. It is interesting. It helps us to solve many problems. There are many things. For example, if you don't give the base case, then you end up consuming the memory. Then you end up putting yourself in a place where there is exception. So I'll come to the exception part also. Again, so this is important. This is important because of the fact that recursion forms the basis of many things in data structures. Again, as far as the syllabus is concerned, the definition of data structure, the types of data structure might not be in the syllabus of 12th, but stacks is there. Stacks is a part of data structures. So definitely, some of the things can be asked easily. So we have taken care of these things. All these things are there in the book. We have dealt with these things. First point, we have explicitly given the programs, given the output, given the variance of these programs, and like explained how these things are calculated by making the graphs which I just told you. Again, let's come to exception handling. And exception handling is slightly weird in the case of Python, because I understand that most of you have been teaching computer science for many years, and most of you are trained in C++ also. So for a person who is versed in C++, and it's not something which is not unknown, that a person if suppose many of you have been teaching C++ in school and have been teaching C++ for long, or say for that matter Java for long, your C++ and Java will be much better than any person who has who is probably teaching first year students of BTech or first year students of BSc. Your C++ and your Java will be very good. And since it will be very good, therefore, it creates a contradiction in the mind. Why? Because in Python, we are doing exception handling, and we are not calling exceptions as exceptions. We are calling exceptions as errors. So the class that is to be explored is errors. So it's just nomenclature. Again, the thing is same. So you have a block in which there might be some problem. If there is some problem, then you go to a particular block which handles that problem. There is a block called finally, which always handles the problem. The block which handles the problem can be many blocks. All these things are explained in this book. First point, they have been treated well. There are many examples of such problems. Second point, there's a reason of why we should teach the student exception handling. Because again, so again, let's start teaching a bit of software engineering also to the student. Let's tell him that you're going to make small programs, but after making small programs, you're going to make larger projects. After making larger projects, probably after a few years, you'll be working in softwares. Now, while working in softwares, when you are developing the software at your office, there are lesser problems. When that particular software is deployed somewhere, the problems start coming. So while running the program, many problems come. There are exceptions. It's important to handle those exceptions, because if you don't handle those exceptions, then your software is not going to work. So this is a very small thing. Again, giving all the examples, telling all these things to the students will help the student in uh, in in uh, in having a link with the subject also. One of the major problems that many teachers tell me, again, I mentioned this earlier also, that students are more concerned with physics, chemistry, and math rather than computer science. It's just that we need to tell the students that all those things are important. This is quite possible more important if you want to make your career in any of the things in data science and machine learning and uh, pata nahi, if you want to become a software developer, anything for that matter. Even if you don't want to become a software developer, computer science has become important. Computer science has become important. Even like, I'm a computational neurologist, so computer science is important for me also. Again, file handling. So there is an important thing in the syllabus which is not clear at the first glance. So what is it that why are the developers of the syllabus stressing on the text versus binary versus severe like comma separated value files? The reason being that in most of the cases that we work on as in data scientists, in most of the cases we get external files. So it becomes important to read those files. And those files are not always text files. Some of the files are raw files, some of the files are CSV files, some of the files are HTML files. So it becomes important that we tell the student the overall mechanism remains more or less the same. There's a slight variation, but the overall mechanism remains more or less the same. So it's important to tell the student how to connect with the file, how to start reading the file, how to do various things with the file, how to save the things in a file, and why to save things in the file. Why a simple program is not sufficient. If suppose you need to deal with a lot of data, then why making a program without file handling is not very good. Once you tell this to the student, it will help you to deal with databases also. Because once you tell file handling, then you'll be able to tell the problems in file handling. So probably the developers of the syllabus want you to spend a lot of time on file handling and then tell the students that this is not the last thing. We have a lot of things after this. We have included many functions of CSV also. We have included many examples also of CSV. We have included serialization and deserialization also, because as a matter of fact, in my particular area, this has become very important. Again, I told you that I deal with MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. So a single file is a lot of data. We need to deal with a lot of files at the same time. So it becomes important to convert that file into raw data, again, to convert that raw data into a particular file, into particular objects. So serialization and deserialization are actually important nowadays. Again, we have taken care of stacks. Again, but queues might not be in the syllabus of 12th right now, but we have taken care of queues also. We have given ample examples of queue also, again, because knowing stacks and queues will help the student to make a good project. All the students might not be making projects of database management system, right? So they might be making some other projects as well. I'm going to discuss a few other projects as well. So coming to database management system, I'm 101% sure that almost all of you have been taking database management system, and they are very well equipped in database management system. The only thing is connectivity. And connectivity, I'll just show you what we have done in the we have dealt with the basics. We have told what the database is, what is database management system, why to deal with the database management system, file system versus database management system, what are various keys, how to make the things, and DML, DDL, DCL, TCL. We have taken care of all these things. We have also dealt with the operations. We have also given the programs corresponding to various operations. The thing that we have taken care of in this particular book, which I found slightly lacking in the other books, is interfacing with Python. So what we have done is, this will help the student to make the projects also. For example, I've given one example. So we have explicitly told the student how to install the connector, how to import connector, how to like connect with the MySQL server, how to create a user, then how to connect with the local host, connect with the database, use connector to carry out various tasks. Carry out various tasks, like say for that matter, do a task, execute a query, then close the cursor, and then close the connection. So this is just one example. We have given many examples. Many examples. For example, we have taken various SQL queries. We have taken care of the fact that all the SQL queries, including writing to a database, reading from a database, performing various operations on the database, making changes to the database, all the things have been dealt with in stepwise manner. So we have not written a paragraph. We have done stepwise, like we have done the things in the stepwise manner. We have given the output of each and everything so that the student is able to see the output while executing the thing. Again, so the most important thing in this particular small session was, what I wanted to focus on was the projects. So as far as projects is concerned, uh, what CBSE wants us to do. This is written in the CBSE syllabus that the aim of the project should be to create something that is tangible and useful using Python file handling slash Python SQL connectivity groups. 2 or 3 students should be should be started by the students at least 6 months before submission guideline, and they should be able to deal with a real world problem. Just one of the examples they have given is visit a local businessman, ask about GSTs, create something which will help us to calculate GST. Fair enough. And there should not be any plagiarism, which is good. So CBSE wants us to teach the student not to take any project from the internet on like directly. So the point is that as a teacher, as in all of us, do not want all our students to make the same projects every year. Even I teach BTech students, I teach MTech students. Uh, if suppose in the second year people start making the same projects which their juniors made, I get very, very annoyed. Same must be the case with you also. So again, as I told you that we have decided to again relaunch a channel, and we'll be helping you in the projects as well. So some of the projects is, for example, I think also there's one interesting thing in the syllabus. The syllabus wants us to teach students something else also. The syllabus wants us to ask student to teach himself or herself also. So I have taken care of this thing. Visualization is not in the syllabus, but I have put in the 12th book, the whole chapter on visualization. Reason being that again, the CBSE wants us to ask the student to make a project which makes use of file handling slash SQL. So we have a lot of files containing the COVID-19 data. So we'll ask the student to read from the file, probably to analyze the profile. We can ask the students to do exploratory data analysis, the visualizations with the vaccination progress, probably the interactive plots. So I'll tell you a very interesting thing. When I started with Python years back, so my first book of Python was published by New Age International. Probably it was the second book after Oxford University Press published my first book. So at that point and today, visualizations have actually grown a lot. So we have very, very interesting visualizations in Python. And you understand that 11th and 12th students are much, much intelligent as compared to you and me, probably. So some of the students will actually explore C1, some of the students will actually explore newer packages, and the plots are actually interactive. You can actually plot the thing, you can actually tweak the plot, you can actually point at a particular position and see the values of the various functions there, and so on and so forth. So this can be one of the very interesting things. You take a data file containing COVID-19 data analysis and you do various things. you develop a platform which analyzes things and probably predicts the thing. And it's not just for COVID-19, it's for any other disease. Cardiovascular disease, for example, I'm working on nowadays. Again, weather data visualization and analysis is one of the very common projects which makes use of all these things which I have told you. Stock market analysis, many students, many students, probably like some of the students who are more interested in finance will be wanting to predict the market. So there are many tools in sklearn and in Keras which help us to predict the value. So there are some of the projects which makes use of regression and classification. So those projects will help you to encourage the students to make something which has not been made yet. Probably you can take that particular project while conducting your Viva also and show it to the external that our students have made such a thing. Again, performance analysis. So like before concluding this thing, I would like to show you something. So as I told you that I've been working on mild cognitive impairment. My PhD is also in mild cognitive impairment, and this is what Python can do. So what we do is we actually see the visualizations, and we see the visualizations of brain. So from the brain we extract the gray matter. We actually analyze the decay in the gray matter from certain parts of the brain. And with the help of this, we can predict whether the person is going to have Alzheimer's in the next 5 years or not. And this project was funded by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. We got the data from All India Institute of Medical Sciences. So this is one of the very exciting things that can be done using Python. So Python is interesting. As far as today's interaction is concerned, though it was a small interaction, but still, I think we have been like I've been able to tell you what was the need of writing this book, what did the developers of the new syllabus wanted us, the teachers, to do with the students, and what we can expect the students to do. Rather, one more thing, what we can do with the students to make them connect with us with Python and encourage them to become probably great data scientists, machine learning scientists, and so on and so forth in the coming years. So I've worked as a machine learning consultant for 2 US-based firms. I work in natural language processing, except for mental health. So we have we have coordination with Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital, and I'm also part of a startup. We are helping to handle the patients of depression with Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. We are making use of machine learning and deep learning methods in order to predict depression, in order to see the levels of depression in a particular patient with the help of video modality and audio modality. I told you that we have been working with All India Institute of Medical Sciences. We also got the data from Alzheimer's Disease Neuroimaging Initiative. We've been able to predict whether the person is going to have Alzheimer's in the next 5 years. The project is still undergoing. Again, I thank the government for supporting this project. Except for these things, I've been working in natural language processing. So our latest projects relate to what all of us are interested in, that are large language models. So generative pre-trained transformers we are using for NLP nowadays. You've been a great audience. I would like to request 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐜𝐤 and then our panel members to kindly ask some questions, probably deal with some of the questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. So, dear participant, you can ask the question to sir and our panelists.
I think some of the people want to ask questions. Dr. T. Narayanan and some other people as well.
Some question I have noted, sir. Ms. Khushi is asking the question concept of file handling.
Okay. So, Ms. Khushi, I hope I am audible to you. So concept of file handling, as I told you, that we need to start with the very, very basic thing that we cannot store everything in RAM. So we need something permanent for storage. Again, this book tells us how to connect with the file, how to use various functions to deal with file handling, connect with the file, read the file in various modes. We have explicitly covered various modes, the text mode and the binary mode. We have told what is the difference between the two, when can we use these two files. How can we connect with the file? How can we write in those files? Again, read from them, do things with them, close them. Same is the case with CSV file. And in the same chapter, we have covered serialization and deserialization also. Acha. So one of the questions, sir, Yogesh ji, not LG, can I take Yogesh ji's question? I'll tell you why I have included data visualization.
Sir,
Okay.
one
हाँ जी. So
one
Yogesh,
more question is asking.
हाँ जी, सर एक बार योगेश जी का मैं पहले क्वेश्चन का आंसर कर दूं.
हाँ, sure.
जी जी जी. So Yogesh ji, as I told you that we wanted to cover the whole syllabus, but at the same time we wanted the students to make good projects as well. Actually, since the CBSE wants us to teach Python to the students, so one of the very good reasons of teaching Python is that it's able to handle data well and it's able to do visualizations. So as I told you, okay, they want us to teach CSV to the students. They want us to teach how to read data from CSV. Now, just reading data from the CSV and displaying it on the front end will not make sense. Obviously, they'll have to do visualizations in their project. For example, just I told you that, for example, we can give data analysis to them. We can give the features, and we can give whether the person is suffering from a particular disease or not. In these particular cases, it's important to handle the features. It's important to visualize the features. It's important to see if the feature is making any statistical sense as per as the disease is concerned. So for all these things, we need visualization. So therefore, we have included a few things in the book which are not there in the syllabus, but we have included them deliberately so that the student can make good projects. Not LG, if I'm not mistaken, we have mentioned what all chapters are there in the syllabus and what extra chapters we have included.
We have already mentioned in the
Yes.
syllabus. We
So
have
I
already.
think Yogesh ji, does it answer your question? Uh, Yogesh ji, you can like write something in the chat. हाँ जी. So Shubham, अच्छा ठीक है. Thank you Yogesh ji. Shubham sir, Shubham Mishra ji. Shubham Mishra ji is asking like how is this book different? So obviously like Nadia ji, can I answer?
Yeah, sure.
ठीक है. So Shubham ji, obviously if a person writes, he writes is in his or her way. So one of my concerns with all the existing books are good. I'm not saying that any book is not good. My concern with the existing books was that, okay, if we have a class of 50 students, we should take care of each and every student. And to take care of most of the students, they should not be overwhelmed with jargons. So the things should be very simple to understand. And at the same time, we should be able to tell what we wanted to tell the student. Again, our aim is to promote the student so as to learn and at the same time gain marks in the exam. So this was the reason why I wanted to write something which is easy, which can be used when the person goes to the college, probably when he wants to become something else also, probably a data scientist, a machine learning engineer, so on and so forth. So this is the reason we have included a lot of things. And again, because I have done my BTech, I have done my MTech, PhD, net, worked at various places, taught at various universities. I have been associated with education for long. So again, I told you that for me, it becomes very important that the person should try new things, even the students. So like, being a teacher, I think you must be very, very, क्या बोलते हैं, annoyed with all the students making database management systems for years. So this was the reason of writing this book. So, Mishra ji, does it answer your question? Thank you, Mishra ji. So, Jyoti ma'am, Jyoti ma'am is asking, she is facing some problem.
She is asking about SQL facing problem linking.
Bilkul, absolutely.
SQL and
So
Python.
in the presentation also, I've told everyone that what we have done in interfacing wala chapter is that what we have done is we have given step-by-step connection. So we have given steps, we have taken the snapshots, given steps, taken the snapshots, given steps, taken the snapshots. Again, in our channel, you'll have all the GitHub repositories. So as far as connection is concerned, we have taken care of the fact that we tell students step by step what is to be done. We'll share all the programs. You already have all the programs in the book. In the web resources also, you'll be given all the programs. So we have taken care of this fact. And this was one of the very important things that I was trying to handle. So, Jyoti ma'am, does it answer your question? ठीक है. अच्छा, so Dr. T. Narayanan, sir, please ask your question, sir.
Sir, Monica Jackert is also asking the
Ji, ji.
introducing Python with SQL.
Ji, sir, same question ma'am also asked. Jyoti
Yes.
ma'am also asked.
Hello, is audible, sir?
Ji, sir, you are very much audible.
Yeah, fine. Actually, the question is very simple. In that school 12th standard syllabus, actually,
Mhm.
when are you going to complete all the projects before submit those things? Because the children are very much a little bit busy at the time of November only.
Right.
So suggested them to that to get complete the projects on
Right.
time.
Ji. So, sir, what exactly is the question?
No, my question is very simple, sir. The project is given by CBSE, no. So
Right.
the children doing the projects at the time of month of November only.
Ji.
So what do you suggest them? Because all the peoples are very rush up at the November.
Right. Absolutely. So, sir, first of all, thank you for asking this question. We will be we have taken care of this thing. We have given a few projects in the book, and we'll also be sharing the projects each week and on our channel. So, what I think is that the student should take at least 4 to 5 months in completing the project. He'll not take 4 to 5 months. The only thing is that if possible, he should start from at least October. November, he'll be able to complete the project. Probably make some changes in January. Student will be free because they want to prepare for their board exams also. In facilitating the students, in telling the topics, we will help you. In sharing code, we can help you. And देखिए भाई, as I told you, that as a teacher at times we become very annoyed that all the students are doing the same thing. All the students are making database management system, school inventory control, attendance management system, inventory control system, and so on and so forth. So giving new ideas is also important because this is the reason why CBSE wants us to teach Python to the students. Because they probably want us to come out of that front end back end connectivity, only that thing. Even if front and back end connectivity is there, it should be there with visualizations. It should be there with data analysis. It should be there with predictions and prognosis. Probably if we're talking about diseases. We can share a list of projects with you. We can also share some of the codes with you. As far as I'm concerned, I told you that we are going to revitalize the channel. Make sure that at least one project is there every week with a small explanation of it.
Yes, sir. And one more question: how would be your textbook is useful to the students for project wise?
So project
Because
wise
the
again,
students are very good in theoretically, but they don't have that much of knowledge in practical. So how
definitely,
your textbook is helpful to them? Please guide them. Please give me a list how schedule and all the things so the children.
So what we can do is, as you suggested, I have a few projects in the book also. So what we can do is we can prepare a list of projects, probably share it in your group. I can share the link of my channel and the link of my page also in your group. And probably once in a week, or say for that matter, once in 2 weeks, we can have a small discussion with the teachers, half an hour or so. If they are facing any problem, I'll be more than happy to help.
Yes, sir. Definitely, we make a group and all the discussion together.
Instead of sir, I'll be extremely happy to do that.
Definitely. I also be with you, sir, because we need a team to complete all the things to ensure the children should be more happy. Because
right, absolutely, sir. This is what our duty is.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Achha, one new message. I want to know more practical part questions have been included in your textbook so that it will increase the creative thinking. Yes, definitely. The last question which has come. Thanks for asking the question. We have included a lot of practical questions. As a matter of fact, we have included projects also at the end. So, and again, we'll be extremely happy to share a list of projects with you. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Natalji, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir, for guiding us regarding the latest curriculum and explaining us in detail about the new pattern issued by CBSE for computer science with Python for classes 11th and 12th. Now I would like to thank Somme sir, all our panelists, and last but not the least, our distinguished teachers for sparing their valuable time and participating in this webinar and making it a success. Here, I would also like to thank all the New Age webinar team members for their hard teamwork and making this webinar a great success. You will all receive a feedback form in the WhatsApp group, so kindly fill and submit the form to download your e-certificates. Dear participants, to receive your specimen copies of Computer Science with Python for classes 11th and 12th books, I request all of you to kindly mail your details at specimen@newagepublishers.com. You all are requested not to post any messages on WhatsApp group. Now it's time to take leave. Thank you and good evening.